If you've been tending to your bag of marbles and then you deliberately find easy to find good feeling, existing positive aspects so that you activate easy to find good feeling attributes, aspects that are in alignment with what your inner being knows, that's what you want to rely on. All these people that everybody's relying on, they are cooperative components. But are they cooperative components to this bag of marbles or to this bag of marbles? And that's not up to you. That's up to what they did before they showed up. That's about what they've been thinking about. That's about what part of the television they watch every night. And so you can't control what somebody else's point of attraction is. But if you will make sure that you are in sync with this powerful, powerful, highly positively influential part of you, then you don't say things like, I rely on them. Instead, you say, I rely on my alignment, and my alignment produces a synergy between me and my inner being, which causes a gathering of cooperative components that's off the charts that hardly anybody can understand. I look magic, in fact. I look magic. Esther got a phone call this morning from the dry cleaners. We found a piece of clothing, and Esther said, thank you, 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 because it was something I really care about. Esther said, thank you for calling me back. Thank you for calling me back. Now, they were going to find it because they had it. But they called her because she found existing matches, not because she was trying to control the outcome of the missing garment, but because she can't stand to feel like that. That sucketh. We know you know all of this. So let us emphasize it in this way. Did you ever hear us say that when you hold a thought for 17 seconds, it's a little slightly less than that now, but not worth nitpicking over. Really, it isn't. So when you hold a thought for 17 seconds, then you don't contradict it. It's like you've dropped the marble in, and after 17 seconds, another thought equivalent to it joins it. And in another 17 seconds, another thought equivalent to it joins it. In another 17 seconds, another thought equivalent to it joins it. And most people don't do that. They go this way, this way, this way, pros, cons, pluses and minuses. But when you do that, once you cross that 68-second mark, you have an active vibration that is collecting stuff from all around you. What we're demonstrating here, and Esther's been experiencing some of it too, is that one thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. If you will take the time to do a deliberate collecting of good feeling existing marbles, you will find yourself in sync with the bag of marbles that your inner being has. And then you are a vibrational match to the cooperative components that your inner being is gathering up. And then when the dry cleaners call and they say, we found this important piece of clothing, you feel like you've won the lottery. You feel like everything's right with the universe. You feel like you lined it up. You didn't freak out. You talked yourself off the ledge, off the edge, and you are that person. You see, you don't want to do it all. So hear this. What kinds of things do you all do rather than calibrate to your inner being? So we're going to give you a short list. You calibrate to your past. You calibrate to when you used to be able to drink 5 beers and still drive home. You calibrate to your younger, stronger. You calibrate to your more secure. You calibrate maybe to the child who lived in a family where there was only harmony around. You're comparing stuff that you don't have access to, or you calibrate to that person that you've been watching that has a similar experience to you, that is succeeding in a way that you don't think you are. We call that arguing for your limitations. You're calibrating to your past. You long for the days that you had more hair. But don't you? And when you calibrate You want to do all your calibrating to your now. You want to calibrate to what is in your now. You want to be present in your now. You want to be present in your now. You want to be this bag of marbles and this bag of marbles, and the only thing that matters is how those bag of marbles match up, and everything else is a losing deal. You can't calibrate to another time or to another relationship or to another anything. It's just you and your bag of marbles and your inner being and your inner being's bag of marbles. And oh, if we could just convince you how what's in your inner being's bag of marbles is so pleasing to you because you put every bit of it there. And the law of attraction is gathered and the cooperative components have assembled, and it's even bigger than you can state. It is simply this. You so often know yourself as this bag of marbles, and you just can't stand it when you're not there. It's not who I am. It's not who I am. It's not who I am. Your inner being is not ever going to beat up on. Your inner being never says that. And when you say that, because here you are in this segment, and your inner being is in the segment with you. And you want your perspective of this segment to match your inner being's perspective of this segment. That's it. That is the work. Now we want you to all go home. That is the singular work that you feel about this segment, like your inner being feels about this segment, that you're present in this segment. You're not calibrating to an earlier time or to another place or to something else. You are in this segment deliberately activating the marbles in your bag so that they are a match to the marbles that your inner being has activated in the bag right now relative to whatever it is you're focused upon. When you walk into another room, new segment. When somebody that you don't know sits down next to you, new segment. When the telephone rings, new segment. Really, when you're thinking a thought about something, new segment. In other words, it's new segment, new segment, new segment. But if you are intent on being a really good calibrator segment by segment, then you got control of your point of attraction. And what meditation does, you see, when you quiet your mind in a segment, so this is my segment of meditation. So I'm going to quiet my mind. When I quiet my mind, I make inactive this bag of marbles. So the only bag of marbles that is active is the one that my inner being knows about. And so now that's why I feel better. The cells of my body are benefiting. Everything is in alignment with what I want. When I meditate and I render inactive this bag of marbles, which is what meditation does, then what? I'm all empowered because I'm the only one that can put anything in the way of everything that I've become, and I'm meditating, so I'm not putting anything in the way. But you can't be in a state of meditation all the time. You got to get hold of this bag of marbles, because what you did some other time has nothing to do with your point of attraction now, unless you do it so often that it's what's in your bag of marbles, and so it's just second nature to you to do it. It'll be helpful for you to get a handle on this. The existence of your vortex, which is this vibrational gathering, when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. When something goes wrong, you ask for it to be different. If you're sick, you ask for wellness. If you feel unstable, you ask for more stability. So you've been asking for all of this, and when you ask, it is given, and your inner being is focused there and only there. That is what currently is. That's the segment that your inner being lives in. So what we want you to hear is that you've planned, and your inner being knows, oh, okay, so this is how this all fits together. You're really going to like this. It's going to make perfect sense to you. Sometimes Esther thinks, well, I should plan long range, and I should plan medium range, and I should plan short range, and I should plan right now. And we say to her, you've already planned. Why not leave the order of business to your inner being, who's a lot smarter than you are? Now, we don't mean that. We're trying to be funny. But when we say to you that your inner being knows where you are in relationship to everything you want, not only does your inner being know where you are in relationship to everything you want, your inner being knows what your likelihood of taking the next step is in relationship to everything that you want. So you don't want to be forcing yourself to do things for the sake of planning. So this is the part that we meant earlier. you've planned. It's in your vortex. And so if just for a little while, you will let your your singular intention be to calibrate to your inner being, to calibrate to your inner being, to calibrate to your inner being. Focus on whatever it is that feels good. If it's fun and you like it, focus on that. If it's someone you adore, focus on that. If it's something lovely to eat, focus upon that. If it's some good feeling, anything, focus on that, 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 so that you are like this with your bags of marbles, your inner being. And we promise you, you'll start getting impulses. Esther said she just sort of kind of figured this out just really recently, that she gets impulses all day long and often says, oh, I'll get to that. And then it occurred to her, wait, if I'm getting this impulse, if I'm getting this feed from my inner being, that means that my inner being knows that there's something of value along this path for me to do this now. Something that seems as silly as, you know, that cup that you got from McDonald's yesterday, that you dumped out and left on the counter in the garage. Go get that and put it in the trash. Oh, it's trash day. Or, oh, there's someone at my back gate that's pushing a button that doesn't work. They need to tell me about something because I've got a sprinkler that's leaking into the street. So they're pushing a button and it doesn't work. And you can't get that block of thought, Esther, because you are so mad about that sprinkler system not working that you can't receive that from us. You've got that all blocked off. But the cup that you left on the counter, you can get that, which makes you put it in the garbage can that makes you look at the gate, which makes you see your neighbor with his hat on. There are thousands and 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 thousands of pieces of evidence like that, where an impulse that you received that you just discounted because you weren't thinking about it like it is. You weren't saying, oh, my inner being who knows who I am and what I want in relationship to everything that is important to me is giving me this idea. And if it doesn't feel world-changing, later. So Esther just decided, when I get an impulse, I'm going to do it. It's kind of like your dog taking you for a walk. Sometimes you just need to get up out of your chair and go somewhere. Your inner being knows you're about to send a blood clot to your brain. We're being dramatic. We're just saying there are all kinds of things that really, 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 really are helpful to you in these segments. And so we'll wrap this segment up by saying that we would let the dominant intention that we hold in a segment be to be in sync, in touch, in communication, in receptive mode of ideas that my inner being has. That's how lyricists receive really good hooks. That's how artists receive really good ideas. That's how chemists discover this. That's how everything in the world is invented. Somebody was in sync with somebody who knew the next step, because you know why? The next step exists as the logical consequence of all the other things that you put in there. You don't even know that you've put the solution in because you put this piece and 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 this piece, and they've all come together, and your inner being knows exactly how they've come together and what is the best good feeling, dynamic, beneficial motion or action for you to take. You don't have to make that list. You can't make that list. You can't even come close to making a list that is appropriate like that. You can't do it. You can put on your list, get groceries, take the garbage to the curb, call this person, ask them why they didn't do that thing. In other words, you can put really minuscule, not very important things on your list, but your inner being has got the big list. And more important, your inner being's got the timing. Your inner being's got the timing. Because your inner being understands the law of attraction. And your inner being understands your bag of marbles and your bag of marbles and everybody else and all their bags of marbles. That's how things come together. Really good conversation.